Is it time to panic in Pittsburgh? Is it that time? Last two games haven't looked too good offensively, although at least in the Colts game, they got it going in the second half to make a game of it and had an opportunity. Against Dallas, it was bad. Let's just call it what it was. There's too many opportunities. A lot of people got on Najee Harris for being bad. I'm telling you, we showed you some of the all 22 of the runs. Wasn't Najee's fault, man. Yeah, do we want Najee to have more explosion? Yes, do we want him to have better vision? And he needs to on all of that. But it was the offensive line, man. And it wasn't even everybody. It was usually one guy on one play, and it was mostly Broderick Jones. But even when it wasn't him, it was one guy on one play. But I think the bigger problem is our wide receivers are getting no separation. They're just not. They're just not getting any separation whatsoever. Um, Van Jefferson, I don't think we're using Calvin Austin enough, but even he is not getting separation. George Pickens is getting none. Pat Fryermuth is getting none. We're just not getting open. So we can say, hey, let's open up the offense, which we'll get to that. But the wide receivers got to do their job. They got to do their part. Also, Arthur Smith's got to do his part, in designing some better plays, have some more imagination, you know. I still think it's a huge mistake. We want to be a power running football team, and we're trying to use Connor Hayward as a fullback in those situations, especially with Pruitt out. You're telling me that McCole Pruitt is out and with Jack Coletto, we let go? I think that's a horrible mistake. Horrible. So I don't know. It's just me. But either way, this is where we're at, and we got to do better. But is it time to panic? Um, Look, the defense also has regressed. Let's just talk about that for a second. We can't act like all the Steelers' problems are on offense when they're not. The Cowboys hadn't been able to run the football on anybody all year. Nobody. And yet they come into Pittsburgh and they're able to run the football and have a ton of success. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. Look, Patrick Queen is what Patrick Queen is. He's got to be better. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He has to be better. I don't want to hear any excuses on any of it because he doesn't have any excuses. Be better, period. Peyton Wilson, look, he's out there majority of the time because teams have figured out how to scheme the Steelers out of having Landon Roberts on the field. So you get into a lot of three wide receiver sets, you get an 11 personnel, they're going to have Peyton Wilson out there because he's a better coverage guy than Landon Roberts. But then they run the football. And Peyton Wilson right now is not great at stopping the run. He's just not. He's getting better. I'm not saying he's horrible, but he's not Landon Roberts when it comes stopping the run. Teams are scheming out of this. We gotta get this fixed. We gotta get this fixed. So, and hopefully we do. Hopefully we do. We got to get that fixed. The back end is okay. I think part of the schemes on the back end are part of the problem. We got to stop running zone. You know what I'm saying? Look, you can say whatever you want about Dante Jackson. I don't think he's the best cornerback out there, but I know he's a hell of a lot better in man-to-man than he is in zone coverage. Stop running zone. We know Joey Porter Jr. is good in man-to-man coverage. Hell, you had him traveling around with the best receivers at the end of his rookie year. Do the same thing. Do the same thing. I just don't get it. I don't get it. Beanie Bishop is a problem. I mean, I wanted Beanie Bishop to be good. I was screaming, yeah, Beanie Bishop. Beanie Bishop can't play at this level yet. He just can't. He's an undrafted free agent for a reason. It isn't because he had a bunch of injury history or anything like that. He's just not very good at this time. We need Corey Trice. Everybody says, wait for Cam Sutton. The key is Corey Trice, getting him back. Then you can slide Dante Jackson into the slot. That's the issue. And I have no idea when Corey Trice is coming back. No clue. But I think he might be back before we get Cam Sutton. But if you're trying to wait for Cam Sutton, we got a long way to go before that, man. So I don't know. I don't think we can afford too much more Beanie Bishop out there because they are literally Dak Prescott, he might as well just had a bullseye on his back. Wherever he goes, that's where I'm throwing the ball. And he's struggling right now. He's struggling. Now, here's some positive stuff. The Steelers still have a winning record. They're still 3-2. So maybe it's not time to panic just yet. They're still on top of the division. You know, don't get me wrong. Look, if you watch that Bing, I'm not talking about Cleveland. I mean, forget Cleveland. But you talk about two really good football teams, even though the Bengals are 1-3, or I take that back, they're 1-4. You saw that game between them and the Ravens. If they figure some stuff out on their defense, the Bengals are going to be right there in the thick of it. And we know the Ravens. I mean, if we're being honest, we watched that game on Sunday. Are the Steelers as good as either one of those teams? The answer is no. Can we get there? Sure. But are we there now? No. No way. Not the way that we don't play enough offense. We don't even try to play enough offense right now. And that's where the problem is. Plus the Steelers are beat up. I mean, that factors into it. Steelers are hurt at a lot of key positions, man. A lot of key positions. Now, I guess the big thing is Russell Wilson. Do we call him in and have him be the guy? You know, is Russell Wilson going to come in and save the day? I don't know. I don't know, man. It seems that Mike Tomlin is ramping him up to play next week. If I'm not positive. I am not. I'm not positive that Russell Wilson won't start on Sunday. I know he practiced with the twos today, but does that mean that that's going to be the case tomorrow and Friday? If he comes back feeling good, does that mean he's not going to be splitting reps with Justin Fields on Thursday and Friday's practice? I don't think it means that. I mean, I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. Who knows what's going on? Who knows? Um, but yeah, it's a problem. It's a problem. But we'll find out. I think Justin Fields is starting to become the scapegoat, which, yes, he played bad against Dallas. He didn't get a ton of help, but he also didn't help himself. But I think he's becoming the scapegoat for what the Steelers' problems. He's not the Steelers' only problem. And I wouldn't even say Justin Fields is a problem. I think Justin Fields had a bad game, but the three previous games were pretty damn good. If we're going to be honest, the previous three games were pretty damn good. You know, this game, not so much. Okay. Fine. So that's kind of where we are. I want to see. I'm going to go to some questions here and get some comments. First comment that we got up: D-line has been spotty and the rushers are beat up. We thought our LBs would be better than they are. The secondary is average but solid. You know, here's the thing about the secondary. I like the safeties. People think Mika is falling off. I watched the all 22. He's just not making those big splash plays. Mika's around the football. He's there. He's doing his job. He's just not making those splash plays / interceptions. And maybe we need for him to be able to do that. I would say yes, with the amount of money that we pay him, we could pay anybody to be there. You know what I'm saying? We can pay somebody $7 million to make tackles, you know, and to be at the spots where they need to be. But for a guy that makes $18 million, you have to be making those plays. Does that mean, am I wrong on that? Look, I'm not trying to badmouth Minka. I still think Minka's great. All I'm saying is, for a guy that's making that kind of money, we got to start seeing a little bit more. We've got to start seeing him making those interceptions, causing those fumbles. We just don't need a guy that makes that kind of money to be there to make tackles. We need more than that. We need more than that. And again, you feel free to disagree, but $18 million should get us more from the free safety position. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So careless errors and mistakes with penalties is what's hurting the Steelers. If not for that, they would be undefeated. I don't necessarily disagree. But when you talk about careless errors, blocking errors go into that, bad throws, loafing on routes, bad play calling, you know, all of that stuff goes into the careless errors in my eye. But you're exactly right. You're exactly right, Kev Barr. Exactly right. All of that stuff mixed in, and then the pre-snap penalties. Gee, give me a break. Come on. How many times are we going to continuously have to deal with that? You know, it's just mind-numbing. It's just mind-numbing. So my man said he ordered a a case of Malox. I get it, man. I'm not sure it's ready where it's time to panic just yet. So I'm just not sure that we need to hit the panic button just yet. I'm not saying that we're that far off, but we're still 3-2. We're still leading the division. We're still leading the division. Um, and it could be worse. It could be worse. That's all I'm saying. Look at Cleveland. We could be Cleveland. Before you say anything, we could be Cleveland. Then how would you feel if we were Cleveland? That's all I'm going to say, people.